That's a bit better. Hi in the chat, by the way. Ivan Overton, how you doing? Onizaki, how you doing? Thomas Rabenstein, how are you? Yeah, I think we've fixed this now. I think this is a little bit better, so we'll go with that for now. I think this will probably do. Should we open this bad boy up? I think that's a good idea. I'll put it this way up so that we don't dox me. Not that I really care. Whoop. Let's get that out of the way. Ugh. Use some heavy duty glue on this today. Right then, whoever else is here, do introduce yourself in the chat so that we can say hi. Oh, there's a really obvious like pull tab on this side. Should have probably done that. Oh, hi. And it's one of those beautiful boxes as well that kind of lifts everything up for you. So, there we go. Let's have a look at this thing. Right, I'm just going to bring this over here. So, it's going to be a little bit weird, but that's fine. So I can see what you can see while we're doing all of this. And I think we're not too far off there with the lighting now. That's better. Beautiful. Right. Get that out of the way. I can have another little drink. Hello, everyone. So, yes, we have the midnight blue. They've cleverly not put the wallpaper on the front of this one, which is probably a good shout because they had to put stickers over everything on the last one. So, we have the uprated stock version. So, this is the 8 gigs of unified memory, 512 of SSD, 13.6 inch, and it's the full 10 core GPU. And I would assume that we don't need a knife or anything to open this up. Yep, we have the Apple pull over here. Let's do it. Very nice. Oh, it's pulled off. There we go. I'm kind of surprised that they've even got plastic all over it at this point because, you know, they've been trying to eliminate it from everything else, just putting the little pull tabs on stuff. So, should we open it up? Should we wait for some more people? I think we should probably open it. Midnight blue, yes, absolutely. Is that camera okay for people at this point? Is that looking a lot better? I know I look a little bit dark myself, but everyone's going to be looking at the laptop anyway, so who cares? Oh, such a satisfying feeling removing the lid from these things. And here she is. Oh, it is light. Right then. Let's see what else we've got in the box, because I know that's what everyone's excited about, is what else do you get? Don't care about the laptop. So we've got this one. I believe I have, yes, I've got the dual charger, and it is not like the US one at all. So that's interesting in itself. So let's see what we've got. It's got like a little lump in it. Okay. Most important thing, obviously, in any Apple product, we have midnight blue stickers. That's nice. I like that. Was this actually another thing? No, that's just, it's got a little like block in the back of it. That's part of the package. Interesting. Right, we're going to pop those back in there for now. We'll have a quick look at our paperwork, make sure that everything is in order. Headphones, MagSafe 3, Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt /USB 4, it's Thunderbolt 3. Let me know any questions that you guys have got in there. Yeah, still plastic wrap. I was surprised as well, Thomas. And then this is the guarantees and all that sort of stuff. So we can put that in out of the way. I will unwrap the charger block first, because we've seen on the American ones that they've got that nice little folding mechanism to them, which we've had for years over here in the UK on like iPhone bricks and stuff like that. And then they send us this. So this is the dual charger that we've got here. So it's the dual 35, because I thought that's going to be more useful for me when I travel with an iPhone or an iPad or something like that. So that's what I went for, because it's included in the higher spec one. You have to pay more on the lower spec, or if you spec it up from the lower one. Very strange choices, Apple. But there we go, that's what you get. And then you get a separate little click on that you can attach. Oh no, I ripped it. The satisfaction is gone. Right, pull that off. And then these clunk together. That's your earth, but there's no earth on these because obviously it's low voltage on the other side, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But there we go. That's our charging block ready to go. And we've got our colour matched little midnight blue. This is actually my first look at the actual midnight blue in person because this is still all wrapped up, but it's definitely bluer than you would expect. So I don't know if you can actually see that on the camera, but that definitely has like a blue hue to it. And then the cable is, yeah, like a very dark blue. Looks pretty good. This is the one that I'm going to buy, is that midnight dark blue or black. So I would definitely say this is dark blue. It's got a nice little sheen to it, but I do like it. Right, let's get the box out of the way. Get to the main event. Obviously, after we've already done the stickers. Let's bring this bad boy out. So this is going to the feet that we had on the MacBook Pros. No engraving on the bottom, as I've pointed out in the past. I think this means that they were thinking of calling this MacBook rather than MacBook Air, and I think it was like a last-minute marketing decision to go with the Air branding. But yeah, it's definitely got a bluey hue to it. It's a really good blue though. And what I do like here as well, little details, is that the ooh, you can't see. But all of the little screws in here, these are actually black as opposed to silver. So they're really kind of stealth on this. And let's see. Oh, yes. That is very pleasing. Now, a few people have said it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet. I can kind of see there's a little bit on there. But I'm planning, when I carry this around, to pop it into like a little pouch in my bag, maybe. That will be like microfiber on the inside and just give it a little clean. But let's see what we've got here. Ooh, are you gonna lift, or is it gonna be too heavy? Aiden Marshall, how are you? No audio? Really? Ooh. There we go. I mean, I know this isn't mini LED, so technically there's like the LED backlight and stuff. There is no bleed through on this thing. There is no grey when the Apple logo came on, and this was obviously ready to look at. That's a stunning screen. I'm sorry, but for anyone's money, that is a really nice looking screen. Right, so USB-C on the Lightning connector is white, yes, but that is also plugging into a white power brick, so I think that is actually the right choice. I know some people are confused why they've done that, but let's grab it. So this is the MagSafe cable. So you've got colour matched on this end, and then colour matched, in fact, for the charger on the other end. So that actually makes sense to me. I know the only thing that comes with a dark end to the power cable, I believe, is the home pods in the darker colours. That's a really satisfying clunk on this as well when it goes in. So that's all cool. Right, let's. I mean, it does look really, really good, I've got to say. So let's click through English. Yep, that'll be my language then. Oh, English UK. Let's do that. Actually get it right. Get proper English, not Evan Rogers English. Who keeps pulling me up on stuff language-wise at the minute. It's great. We're having great fun on Twitter. So United Kingdom down here. Because in case you weren't aware, that is where I live. Let's see what we've got. So you can see that
macOS contains a built-in screen.
It sure does.
VoiceOver.
But we're okay. We don't need voiceover. Thank you, though, macOS. It's good to know. Daniel Duran, by the way, hi. I haven't actually said hello to you yet, but good to have you back, mate. Yeah. So if Aiden's audio is not there... Oh, your audio came back when you refreshed. That's good. Good to know. I was going to suggest that perhaps you had your sound turned off. But there we go. Now I'm trying to control my main Mac with this. That's not going to work well. Do I have any accessibility things? Nope, not now. Let's get linked into the Wi-Fi network. Can I do that from my phone at this point? Because normally, it might be because we're not on the network yet. Let me grab my Wi-Fi password because I don't know that off the top of my head because it is a crazy one. 1 second. I'll be right back. Didn't have to go far though. And yes, I'm aware that you could probably watch my fingers as I type my Wi-Fi password, but since you don't live at my house, I think we're probably going to be okay. Cool, then we get all the usual prompts for setting up. Oh god, this screen is delicious. Looks so good. We're not gonna migration assistant because we don't need to. I should probably switch just to my view for this bit while I do actually join my iCloud account, I guess. So you guys can be back in a minute. Right. Feel free to ask any questions you got in the chat. What we'll do is we'll do a couple of Q&A bits in just a second while this is setting itself up, because it's going to take a few minutes. Cool. What we got down here? Onikazi, nice to have a sanity check when I know I need to change things on my end. Okay, cool. Right, let me know any questions that you guys have got about anything about this MacBook Air that you want me to test with it, anything that you want me to play around with, anything that you want to see how it handles it. Right. Just doing the whole 2FA thing. And here we go. So we're back into iCloud terms and all that stuff. This is a beautiful color, by the way, this laptop. I know you can't really make it out on the screen, but it's such a cool, like, it's definitely blue. There's no two ways about it on this. This is a very much a blue laptop. But it's very dark blue. It's good. I like it a lot. Do fingerprints show on the cover? Yeah, you can see them, but yeah, it's nothing crazy. I wouldn't say there's any dramas with this. Is it a fingerprint magnet? I think it probably will be a little bit over time. I'm just having a quick look around the ports, which obviously won't really have been used yet, but yeah, there's no kind of damage. My slight concern with this is that because it is a dark color that's anodized over a silver aluminium, that there is potentially going to be some wear issues. I think over time these will certainly start to wear, probably on this front edge. I think that's where you'll see it the most, and initially you'll probably see just around the edges of the catch at the bottom. That's where you will see the majority of wear on this. But let's just do the camera, shall we? And let's put my face on it. Seems like it's using the screen as a flash like the iPhone does. That's not a bad thing at all. Why is it shoving me off to the side though? That's weird. Cool. And we'll zoom in on me a little bit. There's me. That'll do the job for now. We're not gonna... Oh, you know what we are? We're just going to put a very basic one in for the moment, and then I will change it when I'm not under camera. That seems like the safest thing to do. Aiden Marshall, initial impressions, is Midnight as bad of a fingerprint magnet as everyone said? No, I don't think so. Ron Matson, hey, how you doing? yeah, no, I think this is going to be really good, actually. Obviously, I've got slightly sweaty hands at the moment because lights and everything, but this is really, really nice. The display is the thing that's blowing me away at the minute, and I've got to say, I like the notch. I know I'm probably just an apologist, but yes, I will allow my. I'll do. Aha. Cool. So just so you know, that is not what my password is going to be. Pass12345. That'll do for now, though, just while we get this set up. And I'm saying it on the camera so that I can look back afterwards when I'm like, what did I make it again? There's no caps in it. Silver might get through a little bit over time around the USB-C ports. Yeah, but only if you're actually using them. And my intention is that hopefully I won't really have to plug much into this. Like, that's kind of the dream. When Apple brought out the MacBook, the 12-inch one, my hope was that it would be possible to kind of get to the point where we're just not bothering to use the ports at all. And part of Project 91, which is what we're doing with the Macintosh Classic that we're putting the M1 into. So that's going to be basically the M1 Mac Mini. It's going to be inside there. That's going to have all of my storage and all that kind of thing attached to it, and that will basically mean that I don't need to plug stuff into here because I'll use it all over the network wirelessly. I want to get into that wireless future. Is it going to be as fast as plugging it in directly? Probably not. Is it going to be fast enough? Yep, pretty sure it will. Thomas Rabenstein, we are Team Notch. We absolutely are. But also, the blob saying dark mode to hide the notch. I mean, you're always going to have dark mode anyway. Justine, when she did her reviews, she got the Midnight MacBook Air and then put on light mode. I was like, what are you doing? This is a crazy, crazy thought. And then she got bothered by the notch because she always uses dark mode normally and realised, oh, that makes it disappear. Absolutely. So like, that's the thing. There's no reason that we would have the notch showing anyway. It just means that we can put that menu up either side of it and make use of the screen that would otherwise be bezel. I don't think of it as much as a notch as reclaiming some of the screen either side of where the camera was. And actually the resolution on this is almost exactly the same as we get. Oh, that's pretty nice when it just turns into dark mode all of a sudden. Touch ID, continue. Yeah, we'll set up Touch ID. People don't steal my fingerprint while we're doing this, okay? Do the edges. I've never had a Mac with a Touch ID sensor either. That's one of the other weird things. You only need to set up one finger as well on this, don't you? Because you're never going to use anything else. Apple Pay, sure, we'll do that. Yeah, with the MacBook, with the iPad Air, which is my like daily driver for recent times. Yeah. We'll do these later. But yeah, you're only ever going to use the index finger. Like, you're not going to. Does anyone use that? No, surely not. Okay. Calendar, yeah, you can see where I am. That's fine. Oh, this screen looks beautiful. Resolution-wise, I did start talking about resolution on the screen. So, the resolution on the screen is the same as the previous M1 MacBook Air, except it's slightly taller resolution-wise. So, pixel density and everything else basically exactly the same. They've just added the pixels into what was the notch, basically. Thomas Rabenstein, is the aluminium between the keys black or also midnight blue? This is also midnight blue, which I think is a mistake, but that's what they've done on the Pros, is they've kind of filled the keyboard well, is what I'd like to call it. They've filled that in with black, and I think that looks amazing. On here, they have gone with the midnight blue. That's fine for me, and I think that's maybe one of the differentiators that they've got looks-wise, which is good. But yeah, there's nothing on this device that says MacBook Air anywhere. If we go into here in About My Mac, we can see that it is running Monterey, as you'd expect. So this is not running the beta versions or anything like that, which I know a few people were asking about. It's like, will this be running beta software. I was like, no, 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 no. But I think it's going to look incredible with Ventura on here as well. I do like the way that the menus and stuff look in Ventura. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. So we've got 512 of... Let's just go through it. So the display, it says 14-inch. I think there's an issue here, because this says 2560 by 1664 14-inch. Are they calling it 14-inch? I suppose it is closer to 14-inch than it is to 13 point... No, it's 13.6, isn't it? So you would round it up, I guess. Interesting. I wonder if that was something else as well. They were going to call it 14-inch and then change their minds. Interesting. But it is liquid retina. So, yeah. There we go. That's the storage. 500 gig storage. Weirdly, they call it 500 and it's 512 on the website. I know it doesn't make any difference, but still. Going to overview system report, you get the more detail. So yeah, we've got the 8 cores for performance for efficiency, 8 gigs of system memory. Then when we go into graphics and displays down here, 10 cores of GPU. Don't know how much difference it's going to make, but it's going to be interesting. I am going to put Steam on here and play a bit of Kerbal Space Program, because that is my favourite. Yeah, any questions that you guys have got now that we've got this up and running? You want to see how anything looks on the display? I'm guessing we're going to be... Yeah, we've got iMovie and things installed as default. I mean, I use Final Cut, but still, yeah, this is still interesting. Can you airdrop? Because we've had issues with airdropping from the iPhone to the Mac as a part of the betas that we've got. But if I can airdrop to the MacBook Air, that would tell me that actually the issue is with the Mac side and not with the iPhone. That might be interesting. Let's try that. Airdrop. MacBook Air. Is anything even going to pop up? Probably not. So there's a few things that I do want to install on this straight away, which will be things like iStat menus, so that we've got that information in the top bar. I've got to say, I do like the depth of the title bar that you get on these, where we've got the notch, so they actually made the title bar a little bit deeper, because there's actually more space in the title bar here than there is on the Mac on a 4K display, so that's interesting. It seems like the issue with AirDrop is actually from the iPhone side, which is a little annoying, but there you go. We won't have any media on here either yet, so not a lot we can actually do with iMovie. We can jump on the web. We can go to iCaveDave.com, which is a great website I think you should all visit. Keyboard is very, very responsive, very tactile. It feels good. On Ikazi, I take it that's the British keyboard. Not used to seeing that big return key. Oh, is it smaller on the US ones? That's interesting. Thomas Rabenstein, Save the Kerbals, 100%. James, Apple is saying fingerprint magnet. No, it doesn't seem to be. Like, we've been using it for a little bit now. I mean, yeah, you can see there's a little bit of grease on there, I suppose, but I genuinely think it's another one of those non-issues. Just like when people were saying, oh, it can't have a white keyboard because it'll show all the dirt. It's like, just clean your keyboard, man. Just because you've got a black keyboard doesn't mean it's not minging. Doesn't mean it's not filthy. It just means that you can't see it. It's better to know that it's dirty and clean it, surely. So that's, that's that. Let's jump into the App Store. And let's see, iStat, is it in here? Because it's always good to know what's going on in terms of temperatures and all that kind of stuff, which we can throw up into that side of the menu bar. Probably have a bit less than I've got going on my desktops, because there's quite a lot there. So let's see what have we got here in the chat. Alric Samuel Godfrey, welcome, my friend. Does the screen actually look bigger? I know there's a difference between the 14.2 and 13.3, but I'm skeptical about the 13.6, considering all they've done to slightly reduce the bezels. So yes, it does look bigger. It's not necessarily that they've reduced the bezels, but they've added screen height to it. So obviously your diagonal is used to go to here, and it now goes all the way up to here, and it's like that's the real difference. Does it feel bigger? Yes, and I think that's partially because of having the curves and having the smaller bezels and things. But yeah, it does feel more expansive. Not that I've used the 13.3-inch MacBook Air that much. My previous MacBook Air, I'll grab it. I'm over here. Follow me around. Come on. Come on. Come on, camera. There you go. So this was my previous MacBook Air, which is the 11-inch. So this is 2011. That's just been sitting on the shelf and it's held its charge, which is good. So this feels a lot smaller, quite a lot smaller. So that actually, the whole thing sits in the footprint of this. I tell you what will be interesting with this, and something that we should test, is the speakers, because there's no speaker grills on this. So people were asking, oh, is it backwards firing speakers? Is it downward firing speakers? I have a theory, which is that it's neither of those. I think the speakers probably fire up through either the keyboard or actually through the vent, what would have been the vent at the back of here, and bounces it off the screen towards you. And if that's the case, that's going to make it sound a lot more like the sound is coming from what you're watching, which that could be quite a nice little thing. And we're supposed to get spatial audio on this. I think we are. Right, we've got iStat menus, so that's a good start. Let's pop it across here a little bit so we can see what's going on. SSD, obviously, quite empty. Memory, doing pretty well at the moment. Only 18%. Yeah, that's fine. There's obviously going to be quite a bit of stuff going on in the background when you first start one of these things up, and that's mainly because you've got just indexing and all that sort of stuff going on. You will always get this. Let's have a look here. So, Onikazi, yes, on the US keyboards it's the same size as the caps lock key. Oh, okay, interesting. Because even on my mechanical keyboard over there, we've got like a bigger one, but I think it's actually... Wait. No, it's the same shape. I was just lying. I thought it was the other way up, the sort of L shape to it, but it's not. Every media and YouTube reviewer has said it's a fingerprint magnet. Nope, it's not. They lied. I mean, the display will be, but no, not particularly. I always think as well, though, when these things are brand new and it's completely flawless looking, then you will notice anything that's different. Whereas once you've been using it for a little bit and you've got a little bit of kind of oils and things from your hands into it, it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of smooths itself out again. I don't notice fingerprints though on my iPhone, and that's got the silvery. But yeah, it is covered in fingerprints, but I also just don't notice it anymore, because who cares? Honestly. It just doesn't matter to me. Turn on the groove. Yeah, so for the audio, I think what we should do... Is it Crab Dance? Is that the one that we're supposed to go to? I believe it is. Oh, we've got battery and power there. Okay. So we could turn off the internal one, because it actually gives you how long you've got left. Maybe. Combined. Okay, what's that? Oh. It's all changed colour now. Ruined it. Oh, okay, so it kills all the other stuff if you do a combined. Oh, I see. So yeah, you basically get to click into all of this, and it just gives you all your data. It's nice. No sensors found at the minute. I guess they need to update it for the MacBook Air, because it's only come out today, so that makes sense. Let's crab dance, shall we? YouTube. Spend quite a lot of my time on YouTube. Let's go full screen, why not? And when you go full screen as well, it does sort of disappear the top bezel. It just blackens it all out, which is interesting. Except Crab Dance is the one you're allowed to play, right? Here it is, 18 hours of Crab Rave. Oh yeah. Ready? Oh, we've got a Duracell advert first. Can't get in trouble for showing an advert, right? Duracell, you owe me money. James Apple, when are you going on Genius Bar? Well, I haven't been invited, so I don't really get to pick. Right, let's see. Oh, it's another advert. Unbelievable. YouTube seems to want people. Oh, hi David. Happy to be here on your channel from Fred33. So Fred is Fred the French, the guy that basically does a whole bunch of awesomeness in terms of analysis of the chips and what's coming next and stuff. Right. That's pretty impressive. I don't know how good that actually sounds to you guys. Look at them go. They're having a great time. That's the song that goes way harder than it needs to, isn't it? Pretty awesome. Oh, the other one, this is kind of a throwback. I don't know if... Hopefully I won't get in trouble for playing a little bit of this, but... if you, I don't know if any of you guys remember when I used to do my old live streams. Especially when it was for one of the events or when I'd hit like a milestone. We used to play a little bit of this. I just wonder... This is an absolute jam. Apple should have used this for WWDC. Yeah, or was it the spring event actually? It was the spring event, wasn't it? Apple Studio. I can assure you, I don't know how this is sounding for you guys, but it sounds pretty awesome here. And I do think the audio is coming through that back vent. I'm just going to try that and see if I can find out. Yeah, that's it. So it's when Apple showed their animation of where the audio was coming from, it was basically bouncing out through that back slot here. So that gap behind the hinge is firing your music up, bouncing it off the screen and back towards you, so that actually gives it the feeling of it coming from what you're watching. That's a really nice feature. I like that a lot. It's actually better than having it up firing, I think. Wellington Wuss says, screen seems to be slightly worse than in the previous M1. Absolutely not. It's beautiful. I would say this is probably the prettiest screen that I've used. Obviously, I don't own one of the MacBook Pros. I've used them briefly in the stores and stuff. But, yeah, this is really, really nice. And there was obviously there's no blooming. But when you go to black as well, you don't seem to see... In fact, let's go to just a solid black background for the desktop. And obviously the... you know, the backlight is on because this is not a mini LED display. This is a regular LCD, so this is a liquid retina LCD. But the black levels on this look incredible. And in fairness, like if I go to that, I mean, you're going to get the reflections and things, but you can see that is a really nice looking display. It is glossy. That's one thing I would say, that it's fairly reflective. I'm wondering if Apple's kind of just learnt their lesson about having oliphobic or, you know, anti-glare coatings, because they've had so many problems with the glare coatings coming off. But yeah, it's absolutely not a black one. Dr. Fonta, whoever you are, it's not black. It's definitely blue. The keyboard is black, although I would say it's a It's got a very matte finish to it, so it kind of it diffuses the light that hits it. It's actually really nice looking. What I haven't done yet is keyboard backlight. Is that just automatic now, I think? I guess that'll just come on when it's actually dark, when it's needed. But yeah, this thing is pretty good. So we're on 74% of battery right now. Photos is apparently using significant energy, even though we're not in Photos, and Photos is closed. We definitely don't want that to start downloading everything, because my photo library will definitely not fit on this MacBook Air. That is not a thing that will happen. Hello, by the way, we've got like 48 people in the chat now, so please do get involved in the chat. The whole point of being here is that I can answer any questions that you've got on this. This is not like the reviews that you saw yesterday, because those were all basically where the product was provided by Apple for a reviewer to review. So this is one that I've thrown down my own ducats on. This is mine. This is not an on loan from Apple situation. So I'm completely free to be entirely honest about the device. And to be honest, right now, I'm loving it. Let's see, what's the default wallpaper for it? Is this one, I think, for this particular. And these are obviously the dynamics as well. But I think if we went to just a flat black, there we go, you'll be able to see that there is, you can't really see the bezels on this thing at all. Like, there is no bleed through the back at all. It's only when I actually look and see the reflection of a light that I can actually tell where the bezel starts. I don't know if you can see that on the edge of the screen there, but you can kind of see, because there's different reflectivity. However, I would say that is pretty close to the black levels that you would be getting on mini LED, if I'm completely honest. Like, will it go as bright as mini LED? No, but it will give you basically the same kind of issues. It'll give you the same kind of brightness in standard definition stuff. It's only in high definition that you would actually get up to those sort of 1000 nit brightnesses anyway. This is 500 nits. Hardik Palmer is saying the keyboard layout looks different. There is a slight difference in the keyboard layout from the previous version, but the difference you're probably seeing is this is a UK British keyboard as opposed to an American keyboard, so there is a different layout on that. Darius Solanki is asking about fingerprints. I mean, here it is. I've been using it. We've been typing on it. There is very slight, noticeable, like, hand grease marks, I would say, but it will just polish straight off. I don't think it's going to be something that's a major issue. Light mode versus dark mode, is that something we want to see? We can do that. That's in general, right? So, light mode. Oh, no. Why would anyone choose this? Although, with the black background, this is not actually showing you too much. Let's go to the backgrounds again. Desktop and screensaver, that's it. I always get confused. I do appreciate on Ventura that they've changed the desktop images. So let's just go to one of these ones for now, because this is a dynamic. Let's go for that. Once it downloads, just downloading now. Tell us about the fingerprints on the body backside. There aren't any. Right, let's just close it up. Look. Boop. I have no real issues with this. Yeah, you can kind of see a couple of marks, but that's going to wipe straight off. Yeah, I don't think it's any worse than any other anodized aluminiumness, I would say. Very happy to see this awesome design. Best 2022 laptop design, says Fred the Fred. Yeah, I think it looks beautiful. I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks awesome. Let's just go back to the ones we've already downloaded. I don't know why it's taking so long, but that's light mode. And then we can go back to dark mode for you to give you that difference. So obviously with light mode, you can definitely see the notch there. You go over to dark mode, it does definitely hide it away a little bit better. Auto mode, I guess this is daytime, so it's going to... No, we don't want that, do we? Dark mode always. That's why it says it on the mug. So let's see what else we've got here. Ben Halifax weighing up the new MacBook Air against the 14-inch Pro. The screen... Oh, we can go quieter now. We can go quieter. That was for the crab dance, wasn't it? Yeah, weighing up the new MacBook Air against the 14-inch Pro, the screen does not look as cramped as I thought it might be, coming from a guy whose first Mac was a 2001 12-inch iBook. Yeah, we were just saying that I've got a an 11-inch MacBook Air here, which is my actually last laptop that I owned. It definitely doesn't feel cramped. And actually, one thing that I would like to do is see, because I know we've got obviously scaling with these, and this is going to be in its default. I can get more space. That's going to be probably the way that I use it, as long as that's not going to cause issues with battery and things, because I know macOS is not great when you scale things, but I would definitely go for more space on the screen, make things a little bit smaller, because I'm going to sit quite near this. It's a laptop, and I'm used to having a 4K display up here for this. So this is kind of native-er. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is going to be good. So let's see what else we'll be doing. Let's see what else we've got. The colour is definitely stunning. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it looks absolutely superb. Just to give you the full kind of view of the colours there. Obviously, I'm working on a couple of cameras here, so it's a little tricky for me to show. So I have to keep looking in different directions to make sure that I'm in frame and stuff. But yeah, what are you guys thinking of this? I don't think the fingerprints is a real problem, says Fred. Neither do I. I think once we're into regular day-to-day use, as I say, when you get this first out of the box, you're also going to have things like the release fluid there's going to be remnants as well of oils from when the whole thing was CNC machined. Doesn't matter how much you clean it, you're always going to have a little bit of that in there. So once the aluminium just kind of weathers a little bit, I think it's gonna change slightly. But yeah, I think this is a really nice little bit of kit. It feels really sturdy, even though it's so thin. And I mean, it is thin. Like, it feels well built. There's no creaks. Don't break it. Don't break it on the first day. But yeah, there's absolutely no kind of... It doesn't feel flimsy at all. But then you wouldn't expect it to from Apple. Apple is so good at that build quality. Like, that's a huge part of it. Megan, congrats, Dave. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, so it's really good. Should we Geekbench? Maybe we should Geekbench it, because we've got the fastest GPU in here. Let's do that. Oh, I don't want to sign in. That's not what I said. Oh, maybe we can. Sure. Straight into my channel. Right. Geekbench. And this is another one of the beautiful things about using Apple stuff. Right. I've just opened this up while on video, which was 46 minutes ago when we actually started streaming. Signed into my account. All I need to do is use Touch ID to sign into my YouTube account on this device that I've never used before, because it's signed in as me on my personal account. That's a bit special. Let's download Geekbench. We'll use the free one, because obviously don't want to buy it at the minute. Because I'm cheap. I'm cheap. But yeah, that's downloading. Let's do that. Geekbench is always a bit of fun, isn't it? What's everyone else using in the chat as well? What is your daily driver? Are you even using a laptop or a PC? Are you using Windows? Are you an Android user? It'd be good to know, because I think we've got a lot of people in here that don't normally watch the channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome, first of all. We do pretty much daily Apple content over here, and if you've got any questions about Apple stuff, you're welcome to ask them in either the chat on these live streams, or you're also welcome to leave a comment with hashtag iCaveAnswers under any video, and we will answer your question in the next show. So please do feel free to subscribe and all of that good stuff, but let me know your stuff down here. The Blob says it's a pretty damn good daily driver for non-pros. Wonder how hot it gets while playing some games. Well, we will find out that a little bit later on. But at the moment, I mean, I don't game heavy. We will probably try a lot of the Apple Arcade stuff because obviously that's kind of all there and for us to play with. I was playing a bit of, what was it called yesterday? I was playing something on the Mac Mini. Something rods, storm rods. I don't know, what was it called. It's down here in my dock. Shock rods from Apple Arcade. I just basically wanted to know, yeah, you know, a little bit about some of the more graphically intense games, I guess, and that was pretty good. You want to see what Apple Music looks like on a Mac? Le Flame Luke, absolutely. Let's do that. So Apple Music is obviously a bit of a bigger. It's basically the descendant of iTunes on the Mac. Well, let's close that for the minute. Dr. Fonta, but I want to buy one of these. You got a Studio 20 Core M1 Air in your backpack. Cool. Right, let's go into Apple Music. We are a member already, so let's just go straight in, please. Yeah, as always, there's going to be stuff going on in the background on here, so open up, login, start. Hide that away so we can see what's going on, and then at least we can keep an eye if the system's getting a bit busy with stuff. But I think, yeah, sure, let's have notifications. So yeah, this is basically Apple Music for the Mac. When you go full screen, it's very much like what iTunes used to look like. It is taking a little bit of time to get going. Darius Solanki wants to have a spatial audio test, which we can do. We can do a spatial audio test. Thomas Rabenstein, check out later the NAND issue if it also runs into throttling. So this shouldn't have the NAND issue anyway because this is a 512, not a 256. But yeah, we can absolutely do a Blackmagic disk test speed as well. We could download that in the background. Right, that's kind of getting itself ready now. I'm wondering if... Am I on the right? I am on the right network. We're good. Oh, you're going to see my terrible taste in music as well, because it's all going to be barbershop and stuff like that comes up. Ah, well. Yeah, it's a little bit chuggy at the minute, and I think that's mainly because it's brand new, and it's just kind of downloading all my settings and all my stuff in the background, which, like, I like to give it the benefit of the doubt with these things. So here we go. Right, we're into the App Store. Blackmagic. What are any little apps that you guys tend to use that that might not be stuff that people use all the time? Stuff that's a little bit different. I really like Daisy Disk. I think that's a great little bit of app kit magic. That's my wife upstairs. The beauty of this room being in the utility next to the boiler is that as soon as someone flushes the toilet, we get all the noise of the water going through because the pipe work all runs through here. Beautiful, beautiful. It makes for perfect video making. Scottish Volk music. Oh my! I don't think we're going to be getting too much of that. James Apple says how much unified memory? It's the 8 gig. I've just gone for the base. That's all we need. Audio test. La Flamme Luke. Okay, no worries. We have done already the crab dance, which is the important one, but we also did YouTube. The spatial audio does sound really good. There are, as we mentioned earlier, no speaker grills on this, which is what we were kind of wondering about. Oh look, there's me streaming. 83 people watching, it says. Up there it says 74. People are leaving. That's upsetting. I imagine you listen to sea shanties, Dave. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Megan. We're going to have to fall out. No, I'm not into sea shanties as much, but barbershop I am. Do you want to hear some barbershop? Do you want to? Okay, this is the quartet that sang at our wedding. So, assuming that it actually comes up, which hopefully it has. Yes, here we go. Oh, that's Adobe doing some adverts first. And you know what? Adobe hasn't paid to be on my video. Polydev says, what? I don't know. Thanks. Thanks, Polydev. Appreciate you being here for bringing this level of insight for us all. We want Doodlesack music. Doodlesack? What on earth is Doodlesack? Is that some sort of German thing? Here we go.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Everybody's in a play. And don't you know it's a beautiful new day.
Enough of that. But yeah, these guys are awesome. Yeah, I like barbershop music. What? I know I'm weird. That's okay. But yeah, the other one we were listening to was a little bit of Metronome, doing the iPhone remix, which is pretty awesome. Just going to play just a little snippet from the middle of this, potentially. This is the bit that everyone listens to, apparently.
You have a new message. Hi, phone, Metronome remix.
That'll do before we get the video taken down. But yeah, Metronome's an awesome guy as well. I think I told you guys I put this on the end of one of my videos at some point, and yeah, basically he let me use it for some bartending stuff where I was throwing the bottles around and all that sort of stuff. Use that as the background music, and he said it was okay to put it on YouTube with his stuff and just put a link. So thanks, Metronome. Go and subscribe to him. I don't think he's doing much these days, but that video has got 15.6 million views because it's awesome. So we're all a big fan of that. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've got any more questions. We've got quite a bit of time if you want to play around with it. We should have Geekbench. Geekbench has downloaded. You guys, let's do a Geekbench. I know it's a downloaded app from the internet. I did it. Apple gets ever so worried that you're going to be in trouble, and we'll just do later because we can use the free version for now. I think I might have a Geekbench license. But there we go. Right, let's full screen it. Yeah. Let's run the CPU benchmark. And we'll leave it alone to do its job. Which model is this, says Ryan Armstrong. This is the MacBook Air M2. It's the latest one that's basically released today, and it is the upper tier stock model. So it's 8 gigs of unified memory, 512 gigabytes of storage, and it's the 10-core GPU, not the binned 8-core version. Hopefully that should make enough sense. And it's obviously the midnight blue color, which I actually think looks really good. And I'm kind of tempted. I might go for the regular iPhone this year, especially if it comes in midnight as well. Just depends. If they mess around with the cameras and stuff, then we'll see what we do. Do MacBooks have Dolby Audio in the Apple Music app? They have got spatial audio, which is, I think, what you're probably asking. Yes. The difficulty with that is, obviously, pretty much everything in there is going to be copyrighted and get me taken down if I start playing it. What else have we got? What is everyone asking? Hi, a person who never used a MacBook Air before. If I want to buy one, which would you advise for basic use, M1 or M2 chip? If you're not doing any like heavy-duty video editing and stuff like that, then go for the M1. You can probably get it for about $850 at the minute, especially as this has just come out for brand new. You can get that. If you're looking to get something that's used, you can probably pick one up. Probably not that much cheaper though, maybe like $750. But my wife has got the base model, previous MacBook Air, the M1. Definitely don't pick up anything with Intel inside it. That's not what you're looking for at this point. But this would do the job. So we've got, on the single core score, we've got 1897. I would say this has probably got some stuff going on in the background as well. But I think from what I've seen, like 1905, 1918 maybe was the top that I'd seen. So that's not too bad at all, while it's actually already doing some stuff. And then multi-core 8745. What was the The previous generation was like 7 something. Yeah, happy with that. So that's what we got here. It tells you the speed that everything's going. Yeah, no dramas with that. And we have got like Apple Music open in the background. We've got the App Store open in the background. We've got iStat menus going. We've got Safari. We've got a few other bits and bobs. So yeah, I don't think there's any problems there. Let's go back to Geekbench and let's run the compute, which is the GPU benchmark. Let's see what we're getting over there. And in fact, we'll go over here and we can watch what goes on as well. Oh, did I cancel that? Oops. If we sit up here, we can also see what's going on with the cores. We can't see temperatures at the moment because basically iStat menus hasn't added in the sensors yet, so there'll be an update, I would guess, coming out quite quickly for that. But it's running through the compute tests. I mean, it looks pretty quick to me. Does it normally take longer than this? So let's see what we got down here. Ryan Armstrong says, waiting on mine, but I went with the 256 gig 8-core model, same color. Cool. I don't think you're going to have any dramas with it at all. Yes, there is some slightly slower SSD issues with some of the MacBook Pros. It doesn't, again, seem to be all of them. I think it might be just a case of what chips are available at the time that they're building these things. Mac Rumors apparently didn't have the slower SSD issues with their base level MacBook Pro either. So yeah. Right, let's see what else we've got here in the chat. Do the MacBooks have Dolby Audio in the Apple Music app? Yes, they've got that. I've already said this one. We've done that. I need to be better at this. The Blob says, don't worry, Dave. I like Frank Sinatra and I'm not 80, each to their own. Frank Sinatra's great. Anything with the classics. Anything with the standards. Good. Let's see. Spatial audio is greater than lossless audio. Yeah, but you get both with this. So happy with that. Geekbench score 27,328 on OpenCL. That's pretty good. What we can do, of course, is go 27,328 and go to the Open, and that's OpenCL, which really Apple doesn't do well at because they've got rid of all the open stuff. So let's see what's that an equivalent to. I mean, we're going quite a long way down here, but this is obviously not a gamer's machine. So we're talking. I mean, AMD Fire Pro S9300x2 or AMD HD Tonga prototype. Oh, that's no help to anyone. GeForce MX450, whatever that is. Radeon Pro Vega 20, not too bad. AMD Radeon. iStat Man users quit. Sorry, that's bored. It's had enough. But yeah, a 5300M from Radeon. That's the kind of level that we're talking about. Is that good? I don't know. I don't PC. How are you doing, Phil? Nice to see you, my friend. But yeah, I mean, not an unrespectable score, I would say. I mean, let's see if we can find something that's a bit more recognizable. So a 1060, a GTX 1060 is 32,000. This was like 27,000. So I guess, that's the kind of ballpark that you're in for a fanless laptop with integrated graphics. I'll take it. I'll take that all day long. So here we go. LaFlame Luke says, what MacBook would you recommend for a person who listens to music, watches movies and videos, video editing, audio production, and light gaming? I would say if it's all kind of lightweight stuff, like for watching movies and videos and stuff, like MacBook Air. In fact, if you're only doing lightweight stuff on most of these, iPad. But MacBook Air, M1, M2, either or. The M2 will last a bit longer. Let's see. So what else have we got down here? What's your use case for this MacBook? This is from Ali Zain Noorani. Will you be daily driving this as your main machine, or will you be using it as a secondary device along with your Mac Mini? So the plan with this, and this is not 100% set in stone because it may go back. It depends on what happens job-wise for me and whether I can afford to keep it. So stay tuned for that. That's not going to be a reflection on the laptop, whether it stays or not. It's going to be whether my job situation sorts itself out. But the idea was that this would become basically my primary device. So this has got a little bit more onboard storage than the Mac Mini. But the Mac Mini, obviously, because it doesn't move, can be plugged into stuff. So the Mac Mini is going into Project 91, which is my... let me show you. In case you haven't heard about Project 91, this is going to be Project 91. So this is a 1991... Macintosh Classic 2. We're taking the display out, we're taking out all the guts of it, we're putting the Mac Mini inside it with my hard drives and things like that. We're replacing the display with a display from an iPad. It's one of the early Retina iPads. And then this will basically become my desktop computer, which will be also sharing all of those hard drives so that I can then use the MacBook Air to remote into those hard drives. That's the plan. Which also means that will become the fastest Macintosh Classic on the planet, because it's going to have an M1 inside it, which will be fun. Until someone puts a Studio inside it with an Ultra or something. Can I afford an Ultra? No, I can't. So yeah, that's what the plan is, that this would become my day-to-day, and especially if I end up working back out on the road a little bit, then this will come with me all the time, assuming that things work out. I've got a few interviews and things lined up, so... Don't worry, but yeah, it's just working out what's the most practical at the moment. But that's the plan. So let's jump back down here a little bit. So that's that one covered. Ryan Armstrong, it's been confirmed just one chip in the 256, but I'm not worried as I won't be doing anything crazy with the machine. Yeah, exactly. The only slight issue with it might be that swap files would be a little bit slower, but again, for the vast majority of people doing the vast majority of things, not going to be something you need to worry about. Will it affect stuff eventually? Yes. But I don't think it's going to be a massive issue for anyone. The Blob says, M2 MacBook Air is very capable of video editing and sound production, but if you need to be pumping out videos and audio all day as quick as possible, then go for the M1 Pro and up. Yeah, I'd agree on that. Although, at the moment, I would now say, there's a lot of people saying, oh, the M2... MacBook Air, when you get it configured up, you're probably going to be close to the price of a refurbished M1 Pro. Yes, but I also think in a few months we might be getting an M2 Pro in the MacBook Pros and in the Mac Minis and things like that. So I would be on the brink of whether is it worth waiting and seeing what happens with that. Brandon says, have you tested converting ProRes footage? I'm interested to see how the M2 handles ProRes. I haven't, mainly because I would need to get some project files to do that. I only have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I don't have a 13, so I'm not shooting ProRes on this thing. So, at the moment, no, I haven't tried that. Also, that's not what it's for. I mean, I understand that you can, but that should be absolutely fine. Ali Zain Noorani says the 5300M would be quite a low-end GPU from the last gen from AMD. Not a monster from PC land, but should be enough for basic tasks like web browsing. I also think that with a lot of stuff, as long as you've got fast Wi-Fi, if you want to get into doing a little bit of gaming and stuff, things like NVIDIA GeForce Now, is it called? And some of the other streaming platforms where you can basically stream the games through a browser, that's good too. But there are some really good games on Apple Arcade now, which is not something anyone expected to say, I don't think. But there's quite a bit of stuff on there that you can play, which is actually really good. And I do think we're going to see more stuff coming through on the gaming side. I think we are going to see things like Vulkan and stuff like that coming over. And I think it's going to be capable for casual-ish gaming. Are you going to use it for competitive gaming at, like, some sort of league? Probably not. But that being said, most of those kind of games aren't that demanding. Right, let's see what else we've got here. So, Fernando says the performance of the base version is good for normal use for student Excel, some tabs in Chrome. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely 100%. Bear in mind that my entire YouTube channel is built using an M1 Mac Mini. That's it. Like the base level 256 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM, 8 core GPU, the base one. Like, yeah. And it's running a 4K display here and a 1080p over here, and yeah, it's absolutely fine. There's no reason that you need anything more than that for studenting, unless you are either doing maybe programming and you need a MacBook Pro because you need to have a little bit more in terms of compute performance for compiling and that kind of stuff. But you know, I think you're going to be absolutely fine. Anything that's office based and that kind of stuff, no dramas at all. So, we've done Geekbench, we've done all of that stuff. What else have we got here? Fernando says, I bought the base version. I get quite confused with the SSD speed. The MacBook is slower than the M1 in general. It supports more than 5 tabs of Chrome open. You can do whatever you need to. You're not going to have any limitations. What is being said is if you are... The testing that Max Tech was doing in general... Now, the SSD speed is the bit that is a little bit more annoying than the overheating that they were talking about previously. Guys, I know there's some more questions coming up. We will come to them. But the testing that they were doing is very much edge cases. The SSD speed thing will make a difference, but not a big one for a lot more people than when you max everything out, it gets hot. That's not going to be a problem for people. The SSD speed thing, if you are filling up your RAM, if you are using like multiple pro apps at the same time, which these guys will do, you know, if you're over at Max Tech and you're making videos, and they were on the Genius Bar the other day, and they were saying that, well, we do use, you know, 10 to 20 Chrome tabs while we're researching something, while we're editing it in Final Cut and we're offloading this. And I was like, yeah, but most people don't. Most people go on Google Docs or, you know, watch a bit of YouTube. The vast majority of people are not going to have a problem with this, and I think this will still be plenty to do anything that I needed to do on my channel, as long as I've got access to more storage. That's the only limitation with something like this that I would have. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to have any problems. Right, what else have we got here? Right. Phil Rosalique says, lol, at last an iMac with a touchscreen. Now, I received this in the post yesterday. There's going to be a review of it coming up soon, but it is basically a 12-inch multi-touch portable display. So this is going to be reviewed quite soon. Are we basically going to get touchscreen macOS? We're going to see if it's any good. I don't think it will be. I think the product will be good, don't get me wrong. I don't think using macOS with the touchscreen is going to be in any way an enjoyable experience. But we shall see. Fly by Design asks, are you finding the midnight colour to be a fingerprint magnet? Nope, not really. There are marks on it, but as I said at the beginning, when you get something that's completely brand new, although it's got a matte surface to it, you know, you're not going to see it as much as you do on the sides of an iPhone 12 Pro or something, Pro Max. You will see some evidence that you have touched it, and that's okay. Like, I don't know why everyone's so opposed to the fact that, you know, it's not just a piece of like completely flat plastic or something that will never do anything. So it's an aluminium. It is anodized, so if you scratch this, you will see silver through it. That is much more of an issue for me, I think, and for most people, than anything else. If you are buying one of these and you don't want to keep it, like if you're planning to resell it and upgrade and things like that, I would definitely say go for the silver or the Starlight at a push. But I do think if you go for this one, you're going to get anodizing wear around the edges, certainly where your hands move over it quite a lot at the bottom. And I do think that the worst place for it is likely to be just here. So you've got quite a sharp little edge to the finger like gap for opening the lid. I think that is where you're going to probably find most anodizing wear will show up. That and around the ports, of course. But that, it's very much like I say about a lot of things. So let me just grab another prop. So this is my iPhone 5. This was bought brand new. I still have it. And as soon as I bought the iPhone 5, that's the only reason I went for white, was because of the fact that this is aluminium and the edges are exposed. So I bought this because I knew it was going to get dinged up. And this still looks kind of new from a distance, but then you get close up to it and you can see all of the damage on it. The slate grey ones, or I think it was slate they called it at the time, or something like that, they show way, way more damage than this does. This, still from a distance, looks okay. You get up close to it, you're going to see all those silver edges coming through the dark anodizing. That, I think, is what's going to happen with these. So, should you put a case on it? Should you put, some sort of film across it? I don't think so, because I think it is a beautiful thing, and I actually think a little bit of wear on the edges is probably not going to look that bad. I think it's actually, over time, it's going to look really quite cool, because it's going to have that kind of highlights to it almost. I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I think it's going to look kind of good. So let's have a quick look here. What else have we got? Fernando, about the base model, I get confusion. Okay, we've talked about that one already. Very quick question. This is from James Neal. Hopefully very quick question. Is it possible to get a dock for the 14-inch Pro base model that can output one 4K display at 120 Hz? You don't really need a dock
I found this on the web.
Siri, shut up. Nobody's asking you. Yeah, you don't need a dock for that. You can just you can plug in a USB-C Thunderbolt cable and straight into a display that can do that. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. The base model will definitely support 4K at 120 coming off of it, as far as I know. You won't be able to do it through the HDMI port. You'll have to do it through the Thunderbolt ports, though. That's the only thing. So, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Looks great, Dave. Are you loving it? Says Gaylord Fokker. Absolutely. It's really, really nice. Yeah, if you haven't hit like yet, there's 126 of you guys here, and there's 33 likes. That's upsetting. Please, come on, guys. Come on. Show some love. And if you are new to the channel, you've not been here before, I know most of the people in the chat are people that watch the channel anyway, but if you're not, please feel free to hit subscribe. It would be lovely to beat Max Tech to 1 million subscribers, but we are on 11,000 and they're on like 966,000, so I feel like they're probably going to beat us. So let's see what else we got. Which one has more performance, 16-inch and 256 or 512 and 8? So performance-wise, you're going to get better performance from the 256 and 16 gigs of storage, 16 gigs of unified memory. But that is because the memory is always going to be faster than the SSD anyway. The difference is if you go for the low storage and the low unified memory, then you're using the lower storage as like a swap file. With the 16 gigs, you're probably not going to hit that anywhere near as quickly, so the performance will be better with the 16 gig version. Hopefully that answers the question. If you want to test ProRes, I can send some footage through that I might be interested in the new iPad Pro when it comes out with M2. Yeah, definitely. If you want to hit me up on Twitter in the DMs, and we'll get that arranged. Because we're going to need to Dropbox that, because that's going to be big. Davey Cole says, hi, TV SPL Apple. Okay. Not quite sure what that means, Davey. If you can clarify, I would love to answer your question. No problems. Little Danny 904 waiting to see if the Air has the same SSD issue that the M2 Pro has. Unfortunately, I can't test that because I've got the 512 gig version, but we should be able to actually do a quick. Oh, sure, I was at. I installed it from the App Store, so let's try that. Let's do a disk speed test. Go. So it's writing at just under 2 gigs a second. Reading at 2 gigs a second. Now going a little bit faster. Yeah, we'll let that do what it does in the background. Yeah, we said that we were going to do this. But yeah, we have got the 512 gigs of storage here, so basically everything's having a big tick next to it at the moment, apart from 12K DCI 24 frames a second and 12K DCI 60 frames a second in H.265. So basically Blackmagic's disk test is basically to see what is the performance in terms of what you would need to do this in real time, basically for these different codecs if you were recording them directly. So the only thing at the moment that it's failed is ProRes 422 high quality at 12K 60 frames a second. Other than that, it seems to be able to do pretty much everything, which is pretty good. Right, let's see what else we've got on here. MacBook Pro Lite, says Han. Yeah, basically, this is very, very similar to the design style of the MacBook Pro. And yeah, light for the Air. Absolutely. I mean, you do drop some of the I.O. stuff, and you don't get as fast on the I.O. as well, because the USB ports on this are USB 4, which is Thunderbolt 3, whereas on the Pros you get Thunderbolt 4, so you have got a little bit more bandwidth on those, a little bit more speed, but I'm not going to use them. My plan is to never even use the USB ports in most times. So, Phantom says, please show reminding storage. I'm guessing you mean remaining storage. So, yeah, we can do that. So, the SSD at the moment... In fact, we can just do it through here. Do it the easy way. Now, you can see the SSDs are slowing down a little bit on right at the moment. That's because they're starting to warm up a bit, I would guess. That's always an issue with SSDs, that they will get a little bit warmer and slow down. So, that's absolutely fine. System report. Oh, storage. That's what we wanted, wasn't it? So at the moment, used is 61.86 gigs. Obviously, it's fluctuating a little bit at the moment during these read and write tests. So 64 gigs used at the minute, and 429 empty gigs. So yeah, this is the 512 model. Let's see what else we've got down here. 5S is my favourite iPhone, says Han. Yeah, it's a beautiful little bit of kit. Very, very cool. Space Grey is cool too, says Fernando. When I bought, the midnight was out of stock, so for delivery today. Yeah, the Space Grey will look good as well. It won't be quite as dark as this, but I wanted to try out the new colour, so that's why I got in quite quickly. A case might affect the dissipation of heat. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put cases on these things. I don't with my iPhone either, like... I do have a screen protector. The only reason I have a screen protector on my phone is because I really like to have like the matte finish to it, more for moving my fingers on it. I don't like my fingers to get stuck to the screen. That's why I do it. So it's only one of the thin, like, slim plastic ones, not a glass. I don't do a tempered glass on my phones. I wish the new iPhone had flat cameras so it wouldn't need a case just to level it out. Yeah, I know what you mean on that one. 100%. It looks like they might be changing the design next year, but we will see. Depends if John's rumours were accurate for next year. What else have we got here? Wonder if they will make the new Magic trackpads in the new colours. I would like it if they did, because they've done it. They've done them to match the iMacs, but you can't buy them separately, right? I don't know why. Like, if you're making them, just sell them to people. Like, surely. Try charging it with an Android mobile phone charger Type-C. No, because I don't have an Android or an Android charger. Why would I do that? This is a grown-up channel. We don't have Androids. Ryan Yoel says, my wife is rocking the 2015 11-inch MacBook Air, getting her a new MacBook Air, measured the dimensions, it's only 1 inch larger in depth, similar width and thinner. Crazy how tech improves. It is, where's mine gone? Where did I leave it? Here. One of these ones. So, yeah, this is the 11-inch that I had from 2011. So, this is still going. Still all works. The bezels do seem quite big now, though. But yeah, that was a great bit of kit, and I used that for years. Right, we're going to kill the speed test now, because I think we understand that it's pretty quick. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any issues with the speeds on here. In fact, we could do... Let's just run it as well on the Mac Mini. And see what that's saying. Oh, it's a lot faster than the Mac Mini is. It's like nearly twice as fast as the Mac Mini M1 on write. But I would say that the hard drive on the Mac Mini is probably a lot more cluttered. Yeah. So this is a 256 on the Mac Mini, and we only have we have 45 gigs free on there. So I'm gonna stop that in case it ruins the stream as well, because I don't want that to happen. But yeah, so actually no, on the end I was getting about the same speeds. But that would be obviously with the 512 over here. So I don't know. I would say before the end of today, everyone will know if there is the same issue with SSDs. It probably will be. Let's see, what have we got else here? M1 MacBook Air or M2 MacBook Air for students. If you're on a budget, the M1 MacBook Air is not going to slow you down at all, I wouldn't have thought. I don't think this is going to feel faster in the real world than the M1 at this point. The main reason that I have this over the M1 is for testing, partially, for photography, so I can get some nice pictures of how cool the new design looks, all that sort of stuff. All the kind of things that you have to do as a YouTuber rather than the stuff that you would do if you were making a decision in the real world and trying to just live your life. If it was me and I was just choosing what laptop will do the job that I need to, the M1 would be absolutely fine. So yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm in America right now at Best Buy. The 14-inch MacBook Pro is $17.99 for the base model. If you spec out the Air the right way, the 16 gigs of memory and 512 SSD, it's $15.99. I'm torn. At that point, if you've got the budget, I would probably go for the Pro. I would probably go for the M1 Pro. Mainly because you're also getting the mini LED display instead of a liquid retina LCD. You're getting slightly more screen real estate. You're getting the better I/O, so you can hook it up to 2 external monitors instead of just one with this, which is, I'll be honest, fine. Again, for the vast majority of people, don't even plug it into one external thing ever. So why people think that this is some huge deal, I don't know. So yeah, if you've got the budget to go for the M1 Pro, it is probably the better system overall. The difference with this is you're going to get much better battery life than with the M1 Pro because it's a less powerful system. Let's see what else we've got. So Random Dude is saying as well, go for the M1 Pro. That makes sense. Ella Ekits is saying, what's your configuration is this? It's the 512, 8 gigs of unified memory, and the 10-core GPU. So we're done there. The only people that should worry about shaving off a few minutes when rendering a video or batch Photoshop edits are pros charging by the hour for their time. Otherwise, just grab a sandwich, says the Blob. I would agree. The difference is, because obviously I'm a YouTuber, I'm not charging for my time. However, because I do news content, there's an element of speed that is inherent with that. So you need to be able to do something, get it rendered, and then get it uploaded as quickly as possible. So I think from that point of view, potentially paying the extra $200 to get that, if you're going to use it over a couple of years, then that's definitely a good thing to do. Lit8 Tech, I can't watch right now. Glad you could pop in at least to say hi. Thank you. So yeah, I think there's definitely an argument for that. If you're buying it as a consumer, 100%. Like, if you're not doing it where you have time pressures, where you need to get stuff out by a certain time, 100%. But I also don't think it's going to make that much difference in most cases. And it is probably, we're talking a couple of minutes in most cases. Nick Isat says, I missed the train. Pre-order my base model, but upgrade to 16 gigs of memory. My question is that enough to use for office work and Google several tabs? Number one, I would say use Safari if you can. If you don't have to use Google Chrome because of certain plugins or certain extensions that you need, Safari is much better at managing memory. 16 gigs of SSD. Let's try that again. 16 gigs of unified memory, which is what I was trying to say. I should just say RAM like everyone else does, but it's not really, because it's also like video memory as well, is enough. 8 gigs on this huge setup that I have here, that I make videos on every day, has been enough. The memory has never been a constraint for what I'm doing. So, take that as you will. Let's see what else we got. So, by the way, I know we're supposed to respect each other's cultures, but I can't stand the British style keyboard. How dare you? I guess it's what you grew up with. Constantly mispress Enter key with the square bracket. I never really type square brackets, if I'm honest. I'm not a coder or anything, which I guess is the only time you use square brackets, right? I used to do some like web design and stuff, so I back before you got WordPress and stuff, so it was all like angle brackets at the bottom here, but yeah, I don't find any issues with the keyboard layout, but as you say, I did grow up with it. But yeah, if anyone's got any more questions, then we will do those. If not, then I'm going to start to wrap this one up, because then I can get on with doing some other testing and making some other videos with it, and then we can see where we go from there. I can actually put a password on it that's safe rather than the one that I did while we were streaming. So yeah, random dude also saying at Nick Izat, yes, if that's what you're doing, then 8 gig is enough. It really is. The way that macOS manages the unified memory on these things is just like bonkers good. So yeah, it does make a big difference. So I guess we could kind of do a bit of an overview of this. I'd be curious about the M2 ProRes engine versus the M1 Pro. I think that's definitely going to be something that gets pulled up, and I think probably Max Tech and those guys will do a very good job of that. But yeah, should I buy an MacBook Air M2 or MacBook Pro 14-inch? Completely depends on your budget. If you can afford the extra 200, which is basically the difference in the similar configuration, i.e. 512 of storage, 16 of unified memory. If you can afford the extra 200, even if it's on like a payment plan or whatever it might be that you're doing, then I definitely think that the 14-inch is probably the one to go for. This is plenty for what I need. And I know I kind of went up on the config a little bit to the 1550, which is what it costs in the UK. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth having a look at. Ali Zain Nurani says, do you think the M1 Pro and M Max MacBook Pros will get the new color match MagSafe chargers now that M2 MacBook Air has it? Yeah, I think they will do. I don't think the current M1 ones will, but when they go to the M2, then they will. I don't think they're going to change it in the box at this point. Hannah Shipman says, I'm looking for a new Mac with 1 terabyte for music production in Logic and as much RAM as I could afford. Do you think the fans on the Pro would be loud, or is the fanless Air a better option? Hannah, I would probably say, yeah, go for a 1 terabyte Air. I don't think the fans are going to make any difference when you're doing music production, and go up to the 24 gigs of unified memory. That would be a decent config for what you need from the sounds of things. Yeah, I don't think the fans would be too loud, but actually it really depends. Do you want the newest design style, or do you want to have the fans and a touch bar? Which is most useful for you? Having the option of the fans there, I guess, isn't a bad thing if you're doing higher end stuff. And if you get like a fan control bit of software, then you can also kind of take control of those fans yourself. Hopefully that covers it. I know I didn't tell you which one to buy, but this one looks cooler. Anyway, right, we're going to wrap it up now, guys, so that I can go and make some other videos. But thank you all so much for joining. If you haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe, and we will be back with a lot more videos about this MacBook over the next few days. See you then. I've not gone yet because I couldn't find the end stream button. I'm going to go now. Thanks.